here with Create Life Paper Words, and today I thought I would show you my 2014 Part 1 and 2 Project Life albums. So I started Project Life last year, pretty much on the beginning of January of 2014, and I have been scrapbooking for a while and card making, but I found that I just wasn't staying up with it, and I just was only doing events. And so I had heard about Project Life through Pinterest, and I thought I'm gonna give this a go and see how it works. So I just thought you might like to see it, so I won't be telling you a lot about the cards or anything like that. It's just sort of a quick look through my very first year. So this one right here is my title page, and I had a lot of fun with this one when I did it. I first did it and then I decided to embellish a bit more. So this right here I think is my absolute favorite card, and this one right here as well. So yes, title page, and then we have my next spread. And what I originally started doing is I was going to do one page per week. And then a couple weeks in, I found that I had way more pictures than I normally would take, and that I wanted to include them. So I decided to just do a full page spread, so 2 pages per week. But right here I've got, this is 2 different weeks. I used the Becky Higgins Midnight Core Kit for a lot of the very first ones that I did. That's the only core kit I had and that I started out with. And I have to say I really like it because it's very neutral, so I did a lot of color in my embellishments. And then at this point is where I sort of got addicted to buying kits, and I went a little crazy. And in this one, I think this is from the Clementine kit, which I don't think is available any longer, but I just traded with a friend of mine who was doing some Project Life as well, and so I gave her some Midnight and she gave me some of her Clementine kit. And I really love these. I just love that you've got sort of a whole story and a whole day right here in your little pocket. So whenever I do something that pulls out, I always put a little tab of some kind on it. This one I used some washi, but this one right here, this one I used a little banner tag. And I think it's just a great way to just add that little bit more journaling. So it was very journaling heavy when I first started. As you can see, like I've got tons of journaling on these. And as I go through, I do sort of less journaling, or I hide my journaling a little bit more. What I did for a long time, and I still do, is I do a week in review on one page, and I did that for quite a bit. I think I did it for most of 2014 and 2015, and then I had just started putting it, behind my weekly title card. So this is about Valentine's Day, and I did a little insert, as you can see right here, about our Valentine's Day. And then I moved into these beautiful sort of aqua colors, and I use a lot of aqua colors even now still. Sometimes I feel like I need to go back and I need to do some embellishing on these cards. Like right here, like I should have something right here, I'm thinking, as I'm looking at this right now. So maybe that'll be one of my projects one of these days. Yeah, and like this card could use something as well. Something else I did is for the beginning of each month, I would do a little calendar that I printed off, so we knew sort of, what day was what in that month. I did it for the beginning of 2015, but I've sort of stopped. So this is another little insert. And a lot of times I will do the inserts when I find that I've just got something either special to document. So like this one, we took our kids to their very first concert, the Backyardigans. Or if I've got an excess amount of pictures, I'll do it then too. We had a really busy year last year. We actually bought our very first house, and so it was really fun for me to be able to document that as well in this Project Life. It's not something I don't think I ever would have done before Project Life came around, but I'm really, really glad that I did, especially because now we can look back at it and go, oh my goodness, do you remember how crazy that year was? So this was a really fun thing as well. This is an insert as well, but it is like a full 12 by 12 page insert. So what happened is my daughter was picked to be one of these kids at the Flames game at the end of March last year, and she got to sit on the bench while they did warm-ups, and then we got to go to the game as well. And so I took a ton of pictures, as you can see, enough for a full 12 by 12, and I couldn't not put them in because it was such a neat thing that I was able to document for her. So that's a full page spread, but this is actually part of my week. What I probably could do is fold this in half and sort of attach it up here so that you knew, but maybe I'll do that one day. This week right here, I wasn't really sure what to do with it. Last year, my husband and I went to Hawaii, so the pictures that I actually have here are from my kids at their grandparents' house. So my mom and my husband's mom took these pictures, and then what I did is I did a separate mini album for our Hawaii trip. So I wasn't really sure at first what to do with it, but I'm happy with how this turned out and how we still got a lot of pictures from the kids and what they did that week. So here's another little insert, as you can see. And at this point, I'm mixing a lot of different colors and kits. This is the coral kit that I've used right here. And this one is the jade kit. So what I would do each week is I'd sort of look at my pictures and pull out the colors that were in the pictures. And then I would choose which kit to use. And like I said, I had a lot of kits. So these ones are, or this album, and then my next other half of 2014, they're really mismatched with kits. This is the day we moved into our house, and I decided I wanted to do like a big picture, and when I took this to get printed off, I wasn't thinking, and I did it as an 8 by 8. What I really should have done was printed it as a 12 by 12, and then I could have had just cut the picture into 4 squares and it would have been fine. But when I got it back and I realized I had only done 8 by 8 and these were 6 by 6, I decided that I would just cut it in 4 and then attach it. And I have to say, this is not my favorite pocket page design. I see some people who use it really well, and for me, I just can't use it very well at all. So this is the pretty much one and only time that I've ever used this 4 by 4, or sorry, the 6 by 6 style. And then I had a really hard time figuring out what to put on the back of it as well. Really just documenting our week and just sort of the normal craziness that ensues. I've got 2 little inserts here. Again, this was a really big week. I like to sometimes include a recipe in my Project Life about something that we've made that was really good. So that one actually documented the cookie dough pretzel bites that I made. They were delicious. Of course, that's why I had to put the recipe in there. And again, just sort of everyday life. What I did a lot of last year too is I really used different designs for the page protectors. Like this year I'm trying to use mainly design A, whereas last year I used pretty much whatever I had. So design A, and then this one is another design. So it's got the 3 4 by 6 on the top going vertical, and then the 6 horizontal 4x3s on the bottom. And I found that it just wasn't as cohesive as I would have liked it to be. So that's why I did make the switch to going for mostly Design A or this year I should say, for 2015. These cards are the vintage Becky Higgins one, Vintage Travel, I believe. And I have to say they aren't really my favorite. I use them, but they're very masculine, and I tend to use a lot brighter colors. This is my very first Studio Calico kit. I was so excited to receive it, so of course that had to get documented. And this one, I was on a Facebook group, and someone asked what they do with their what to do with their cards that they've received. So we had a housewarming party, and what I ended up doing is I put the cards that we received into my little insert here. So I've got a couple in there. And then this one was about our housewarming, and I documented who came and what gifts we got. And I took a picture of the delicious cookies because, of course, I wasn't going to keep cookies in here. But that's an idea. If you're wondering what to do, you can just, some of the cards you have to cut down depending on the size, but you could easily just stick them into one of these. This is my absolute favorite page layout from 2014, and it was used pretty much with the Studio Calico kit that I had gotten. And I absolutely just loved it. I think it's just fun and bright, and it's got lots of gold, so. Get another little insert. And this is where I think I had gotten one of the Stampin' Up Project Life kits, and they have square corners, and before that they had all been rounded corners because they were all Becky Higgins kits. And so I started using more square corners, or yeah, square corners, I guess, yeah. And I found that I actually really like the look of the square more than I like the look of the rounded. And I also started getting into using alphas and stuff as well near the end of this one. So this one pretty much documents our trip down to Kalispell that we like to take probably once a year with my family. And then when I realized that, like this isn't that full actually, but when I realized that I still had half a year to go, I decided to cut my album off at the halfway part, so at the end of June. And then I was stuck with this last page, and I thought, what am I going to do with it? So I just did a little summary of our whole year, and I really love how this page turned out. I had seen this card, this one right here, and it says 1 new job, 3 ski trips, 7 new weekend adventures, 50 guests at our housewarming, 66 mornings in our new house, 1,000 plus memories that will last forever. And it says, remember January 1st, 2014 to January 30th, 2014. And I had seen this on a Pinterest page, and it was more in a scrapbook type layout, but I really loved it, and I thought, oh, I can create that. And that's one of my favorite cards I think that I've made for this year, just because it really does document everything in this book in a little tiny nutshell. And then another thing that I do, and this is before I started printing with my printer at home, is I would print all my pictures, from the week, didn't matter how many I had, I would print them all because I didn't know what I was going to be using. And I would generally print them both in 3x4s and 4x6s because I didn't know where they were going to go, and I really didn't have a lot of time to plan at that point. So what I would do is I would just print everything. It didn't matter what the picture was, really. I just wanted to make sure that I had it. So at the end of the year, at the end of the 6 months, I had a whole bunch of leftover pictures that I didn't know what to do with. So I just thought, I'm still going to keep them. So I just stuck them in this little envelope by Becky Higgins. So we still have them, even though they've never made it in. So that is 2014 Part A, or Volume 1 as I called it.